So, I figured, yeah, we'd start the stream with another little roller coaster ride. Last time, Keanu Reeves joined me in the entire ride, and he kept turning to me like this, and smiling. Like, it was good, it was good. You remember playing a solo character in-game that had, disgusting reactions boost in cybernetics? Disgusting reactions boost in cybernetics. Always went first in combat. Oh, in the tabletop one you mean? Okay. Right. It had... Its cybernetics boosted its disgusting reactions? Or in which way do you mean? Also, let's get this roller coaster going, baby. Now, will we have Keanu with us again, or is it a solo ride this time? Doesn't look like his knee was there. Just me this time. Aw. It was so much more fun with Keanu. His face lit up, man. Okay, well, have a nice little ride. Disgusting as in far too effective. Ah, okay, nice. Yeah, I remember somebody said you can make your like melee weapons OP on this, but like I've basically not really upgraded any of my weapons too much beyond adding like mods and stuff. Like I haven't really just straight upgraded them. Because I don't want to get too OP. My handgun is already crazy good. Plus you keep finding new stuff as well, so I figure like until I'm really settled. Like the pistol I'll probably keep now because the pistol has been serving me really well. Same with the samurai sword, to be fair. The assault rifle, that's still up in the air. I'm still switching between that, this one that's like a homing missile one, and some others. Like, well, let me put my hands up again. Last time I could put, yeah. Whee!
Oh shit!
Woo! Ah! Oh, Keanu would be smiling at me right now. Whoa!
Oh, fuck.
Are the character classes in this actually different or just plotline different? I think purely plotline. All I've noticed with the difference is every now and then when I'm talking to somebody I'll get an extra option in the dialogue for Street Kid, which is the one I chose.
Oh shit.
And I think like some people have said like certain characters react different to you. Like some people who have been nomads, one of the characters was like really kind of offish with them and like a bit of a dick to him. Whereas the same dude with me in that exact same scene was like proper friendly. He was, you know, he was well on it because I was a street kid. But beyond that, it doesn't like change your stats or give you any extra like power or anything at all, as far as I'm aware. Also, this loop the loop. Look how janky that track is. Could you imagine that ever passing like safety inspection? It's probably why it was shut down. Oh shit! Oh shit! Also, how long is this roller coaster, man? Bang for your buck. Oh, why is there skid marks there?
Oh fuck.
So, tomorrow we fire up the Ferris wheel.
Cleared out some dust from my PC earlier, and it's affecting my
My
allergies.
This was a good day.
What a day! What a pleasant day. Yeah, so, I haven't done any main missions at all since we last played. I've been saving all of the main missions for when run stream. Or was it all that dust that was janking your PC? Nah, there wasn't that much dust in there. I do generally need to keep my PC pretty clean. Also, yeah, this is one of the things. So, double jump. I have a double jump now. That was one of the cybernetics. And then we got another one, which... okay, hopefully people don't freak out. Okay, if that was actually... We got like rocket launcher, grenade launcher arms now. So that was good. But yeah, I didn't have too much dust in there, to be honest. It's just any dust really hits my allergies. I cleared out my fans the other week, and that had way more dust than my entire PC. Like, actually, you know, I've got like a filter on the front of my case for the fans and shit. And that, when I did that the other week, that fucked me the entire night. No amount of allergy tablets could help me. But luckily it wasn't too much, but still enough that it's got my nose all tickly. Okay, right. So, we can do some missions now. Also, a lot of the side missions, like, I'm at an impasse at, because they're either, like, buy this car, like this one, or very high, which I've tried a few, and yeah, you get fucked up like so quick. We might as well do this side mission though, because we are like right here. And who doesn't like side missions? Also, ow. Who did that to me? But also, the side missions on this have actually been a lot of fun. Like, I know a lot of people like have just sort of skipped it and gone through the normal main missions, but I think you are definitely missing a trick. There's been a lot of fun. So like that roller coaster one was a side mission. Some of good hunting ones. Where the fuck's my car? Wait, why is my car thing not showing up? What's going on? I have 2 motorbikes and a car, but for some reason I'm not allowed to access my garage at the moment. I'm not really sure why. Is it because I'm cybernetic? Is it a prejudiced thing? It can also be quite useful for saving yourself on like jumps. Like do a little hop there. Now I'm not dead. Oh shit, this is not a good place to be, hey. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to pass through. Yeah, hopefully that's not towards my direction. Oh man, I'm gonna be doing rabbit nose all stream. Hey, Regina.
I heard some soldier just opened fire on pedestrians.
I fucking heard that too.
If you can swing it, I want him stopped but not killed. Then I'll send the right people for him.
Right.
More details are on the way.
Watch how much I actively try and kill this person, and she will congratulate me for not killing him. Oh, he's over in that pit. All right, I was gonna start beef with those guys, but we'll hold off. Bunny hop. Wait. Oh, now I can call for my cars. Maybe it was in the area I was in or some shit.
Grimy.
Where are you? Where are you, Johnny? Why did Keanu Reeves literally just say grimy and then back off? So, I did a scan, because I'm kind of like a detective. And this person, I've deduced, they are a corpse. Yeah. They're dead. And someone robbed them. Who robs dead people? Like, come now. $Euros for fears. $. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Where did my hair go? Ah, that was from the stress of trying to fix my computer. I just, just ripped it on out. And luckily, we solved it in time. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be doing a Bakura right now. I'm a real sleuth. Did you? Yeah. Doesn't a sleuth mean like you mess something up? Or am I mixing it up with something else? Maybe sleuth is Dutch for mega sexy. Probably is that, to be honest, isn't it? Where is this no mark? Okay. I'll read the shard, I guess, okay. Oh shit. Oh no, wow, all of that? Are you serious? Search the van? Is there a van? What? 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 Oh no, sleuth might mean something to do with spying. It's not a pretty good spy. Hey, there you are, Johnny. Countable noun. A sleuth is a detective. Okay. Cinnamon's detective, private eye, investigator, tail. Tail can also mean like a lady who was objectified in like the 50s. Yeah. Hey, Nyan and Yao, how you both doing today, guys? Yeah, those dead bodies weren't mine either. Just to let you know. Don't you want me to do that, I guess. Now what? Get out the van? Don't know where I should put her now. I'll put her in does this car have a boot? Yeah, there we go. There's a fucking engine in there, god damn it. Man, it's just not... Oh, come on! Does nobody have like the engines at the front of the cars in 2077? There we go. What was I meant to do with her though? I really don't know. I mean, it's marked off the thing now, so I'm just gonna leave her be. And the main story is going great. So this is the I haven't even done a main mission since last stream yet, and this is another side mission. So I'll be doing a main mission after this, and it'll be the first one I've done since my previous play. I've just been doing purely side missions offline, so now I have stuff like double jump and rocket arms. Got some assignments right now? Oh damn, fair. What are they for? Obviously study, but what like subject? Alright. Soon gonna have to start playing our Mario murder theme. Murder. There's the nerd. I think he found me. Which one did you end on? I genuinely can't remember now. Kaboom. He's just focusing on those others for now, that's good. Which one of them was scanning dead bodies? Oh shit, that was too close to me. I genuinely can't remember what the last one was now. I've done so many other side missions since. Oh shit. Oh yeah, that was one of the other things I have, but it never activates. It always confuses me when it activates. Right, yeah, make sure you don't kill him. Remember that was said to me? It's fine. He wanted to be murdered. Oh shit, more dead bodies? Nice. Okay. Oh, you didn't even have any shit. Wow. He could at least try and kill people that had worth, you know. Hold up. Can we use this? Oh, you can't use this. That's saddening. This is honestly the first game where I'm happy to get more side missions. Finished the campaign yesterday and just 100% in it now. Man, yeah, I've very much been enjoying just doing a lot of these side missions. One of the side missions yesterday took me to a place I didn't even know was in the map, like this, the like trash lands and like the sand lands, the Mad Max areas. Basically, I didn't even know that shit was in this. I just like went there for a side mission and was like, oh, wasn't that pleasant? Oh shit! Read the shard entitled "Archived Conversation." Ken Musada. Okay. Let's just read all the ones I haven't read, I guess. So many. And they're good, they're good, they're good. There's that one. Sasquatch, eh? Huh. There have been some crazy good side missions as well. I don't want to say too much, but the Dalmillion guys, the cab ones have been great. There's a guy who got a cyber implant you helped with. That was a really good one. There's some monks that make you question whether you should kill or not in the game, you know. And then one monk took me on this like little peace trip thing. It was pretty nice, pretty chill, you know. Diego's lacking in the aiming department, yeah. Hey, and Kyle, hey, Anton as well. How you doing today, boys? Get a haircut, you hippie. Cut those sideburns. Panam equals Bay. He's trying to say Panama Bay. Are you in Panama Bay, Jan? This is Cuphead. This is Cuphead at all, yeah. The mission where you get to beat all those animals, classic. There was no animal beating mission. I've never done an animal beating mission, ever. We are going to do a main mission, however, so what should we do? We can do Down on the Street, which I think is a nice musical number, The Space in Between, which I think is when we go to Mars, and Ghost Town, when we become a cowboy. So which one would you guys like to do? Ghost Town, so cowboy, space adventure, or jazz musical? Matingly, this is the last time I'm gonna tell you. Matingly, as in like as a friend, like the romance option with Panam is oh, see, I haven't even met anybody called Panam. I might just build a sex bot. Yeah, you just gotta shave your beard and get a button up, and you'll be a proper adult. Yeah, yeah. Now you haven't seen how many plates and shit I need to wash up in my kitchen. I don't think I'll ever be a proper adult. Real life Yankees players aren't allowed to have facial hair. Really? That's savage. I used to work for Enterprise, and at Enterprise, just before I joined, you weren't allowed beards. They allowed it just after I joined, But you had to wear a full-on suit with blazer every day, no matter how hot it was. It was ridiculous. They had some dumb shit. And you guys want jazz musical? Okay. No, Bones said the sideburns line to Dong matingly. Ah, okay. Matingly? This is the last time I tell you. I haven't. Hey, I'm my baby. How you doing, dude? Right, so we're gonna do the jazz musical. But yeah, I haven't done any story on this since I last played, and I can't even remember what the last story was. I've done fuckloads since then, but just side stuff. On Islanders, players not allowed to have facial hair either because of Lamorellis and a GM. Why aren't they allowed facial hair? Are they afraid, like, of wind resistance? I mean, it's not like they have to run that much. I suppose base to base, but I don't know. I can't do anything to that one. Alright, so there must be... oh, there's literally a quick place. Somewhere right here. Is it above me? Hello, quick travel. Hey, I'm Bakura! Thank you very much for the raid, dude. How you doing, my man? Oh, that looks broken, actually. Maybe that's why I couldn't hop it. Yeah, let's try to chat. Some classic. Hey, and thank you very much for the follow there, Mool Penguin. Oh, Penguin. Penguin, sorry, indeed. Oh, Bakura's in this. I've still, one of my favourite things of yesterday is Bakura chose Britta as the character. I was like, it's perfect. It's perfect. No, I need to look backwards and to the right. Over here somewhere is my way. Oh, back down there? Oh, savage. Back just feeling generous. Yeah, right. Oh, yep. Typical Kyle, right? Jeez. Always timing out people in other people's name. You forgot to ask who, why Britta, or who is Britta? Is that what you're meaning? Basically, Britta's the one that gets bullied the most. Like, she's in a play, and they'll go, oh, Britta's in this? Oh, my game crashed. But, oh. Whoa, Cyberpunk 2077 has flatlined. We've created this anonymous shut up. Okay, so the game crashed, and for a split second I was scared my PC crashed, but it hadn't. Because it filters the water? Yeah, that's it. But no, Britta's perfect for you. If it helps, she's also incredibly hot, so, I mean, you have that going for you now. No, not that you didn't before. Cyberpunk, could you start, please? You finished A Good Place. Yeah, nice one. How did you think? What did you think of it? Because it's one of those shows that I remember when watching it, I was like, this is going to be a hard show to, like, resolve. Like, it's going to be hard to end this show. But I thought they did it really nice. Yeah, that's it. At least my PC is alive. It might freeze for a moment here. The last couple of times I've started it, it's froze, like, momentarily my computer a little bit, but... yeah. Entrepreneur's bagel. This PC not able to handle elite games like Cyberpunk and Among Us. Among Us is what started all the trouble, man. It's what started it all. We should be good now. I think I have fixed it. Like, it you know, the computer didn't crash on me there. It's just the game being a dildo. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I thought it had a pretty strong ending. Yeah. Good stuff. I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you liked it as well. It's a good one. I mean, I think it's quite popular, but at the same time, I don't know personally that many people who have watched A Good Place. But it's good. And who doesn't love, like, Kristen Bell, man? And, I can't remember her full name, but Jamil. The girl who used to be a T4 presenter. Wait, what? Oh. I need to research him? Like, search him again, not, like, look up him in a book. Moving into the kitchen? No worries, dude. Sounds good. He is a psycho. He's a cyber psycho. Now you need a new show. Have you watched Legion yet? Noah Hawley? Yeah, and that's it. Kyle is on Community, which brings me great joy. 6 or 7 episodes into it right now. Beautiful. Yeah, I think the best, because they had it on Netflix here as well, but the best way to watch it is Prime, because they keep the first D&D episode, and it's a really fucking good episode, and it was really sad that they didn't. Jamelia was super cute. Yeah, right. Imagine taking rocket arms over mantis blades. What a nerd. Well, I was going to take mantis blades, but I was like, yo, I got a samurai sword. Do you know what I don't have? I don't know why I'm scrolling for it. Rocket launcher on my arm. Yeah, okay, Todd, watch Legion. It's trippy as fuck, like crazy trippy. Each season feels very different from the last in just how they interact with shit, but it's very good. Yep, and they got rid of it because of Chang's dark elf face. But also, like, don't get me wrong, you see regular Neil on other episodes, but this episode stopped him killing himself. So, like, Netflix's canon has basically just, you know, killed Fat Neil. Sorry, regular Neil. Regular Neil with pipes of steel. Okay, we're just... Yeah, no, that's it, yeah, and that's the episode that he's introduced in, and that episode is to, like, cheer him up and that, because, you know, he's, like, been down in the dumps, because, well, actually, no, I'm not going to say too much, because Card is watching stuff. So, yeah, is Among Us really elite, though? Yeah, man, honestly, like, I'm running it at, 256k, you know, which is pretty hardcore. Still can't even run it on it, you know, it's crazy. Wait, did I not go to the place today? Oh, no. Where did I actually want to go? I haven't got it marked out. That's why I'm confused. Okay. Let's go to... here. Okay. Okay, hopefully the game doesn't crash. Yeah, poor Neil. It's okay. He's going to boycott that racist episode for sure. Yeah. It did instigate a lot of racism in me, for sure. Wow. It is a pretty sexy term. I don't know if it's the sexiest term, but each to their own. Come to Butthead. Wagwan. I got a new bike, even though I already had a bike, and I got a really shit car. I don't know why. Before they started adding more and more to the map, I was like, oh, I'll probably just end up buying most from them. But then, like, the more I did side missions, the more there was like, hey, it's a new car for sale. It's like, ah, well, shit. Wasn't finished, though. Let me drive! Beep, beep, motherfucker! You a person call it, though. Yeah, you get him. You cut that person. Great leap forward for humankind? Yeah, watch this leap forward. Double jump forward. Nice motorcycle though, right? Yeah, yeah. Has a nice little nuclear thing on it. You still have like 20 cars to buy there. Yeah, that's it. Wait. How did I miss that car? There we go. Has it already been it's been pre-blown. I could blow up my bike, but I don't know if it's insured. I haven't tried to flog me insurance in this game, so let's just have a little wait. We'll have a look at the fiche. Oh, all glitch out. Yeah, nice. You actually witnessed an argument about the term sportsmanship being sexist before. Huh.
It is good to see you, V.
Yeah.
Seems pretty,
Sports kindship? I mean...
It is appropriate for such a secret meeting.
You look
what
awful.
the hell happened? Look close to awful.
Takemura.
You see a man robbed over his
Blind playthrough is
influence,
ableist? Yeah, that I
money,
can't believe
and
that one. That's
divinity.
ridiculous.
Well, it is not all bad.
Like, I get sometimes might still be offensive to people, but I've never heard anybody have any objection to it. Because you have stuff like blind studies in science. And it's never been a derogatory term. It's an actual fucking scientific
He
term.
should be here any moment now.
It is an actual... It's off Twitch now, Todd. So, like, Todd, I know you have visual problems, right? We can, like... We can't put blind playthrough on our tags anymore because people thought it might be offensive to people with visual impairments. Again, most visual impaired people I've known have never had an issue with that or even thought about it. Yeah, retarded was, but retarded did become a derogatory term over time, whereas... well, I mean, maybe I've just not witnessed it. I have never known blind to be a derogatory term to anybody. Like, maybe you say, are you blind to somebody, I guess, but, I mean, people say, are you fizzled to me all the time. Oh, that is quite offensive, though. How do they know, you know? Yeah. Exploded dude, you don't find it offensive. Cool. And I'm going to take that as you mean it for every person. Yeah. Planet's been robbed. Science is offensive. That's true. I before E, except after C. But I is still before E, and it's still after C. What's that about? Pitchfork gives music a 4.6. Oh, nice. I give Pitchfork C-. They rarely stab people. Am I blind? No. I actually have pretty good vision. I'm just dense. Oh, come on, Kyle. Do you know how many times I hear that when I'm streaming? Oh, it's so offensive, Kyle. I was born a fizzle, alright? Once I made up the name, I was born again. Yeah. Idiot means more or less the same thing, but that gets a pass. Where did idiot come from? Was that ever a term other than just to say someone was, like, not intelligent?
Sure you can trust them?
And you a lot of people that get offended about things are the people that don't belong to those groups. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I know. You don't get offended by blind jokes or anything like that. It's funny. Yeah, I mean that's it. Like, I suppose it's how the joke, what the joke is as well. Like, if it's actually in good taste and that. But I mean that's it. Anything's up for like for comedy.
A good sign. He is usually camouflaged.
He's not camouflaged now, is he? Jeez. Don't think idiot directly rates to an IQ category though. Retarded directly referred to individuals with an IQ below 70. Oh, okay. So no, I didn't actually know there was. Yeah, I knew obviously it was a diagnosable term, and it's obviously used for a lot of stuff. Like, just I know a lot. Retarded and retard is used to mean like slow or slow progress, and I think a lot of the time in science and like medical. But yeah, there was also a marketable thing to say about IQ there. Fair. Hey, how you doing? Look at this emo prick.
Takemura-san. Oda.
You gonna bow to me?
Is this him? Your thief.
I'm in the room, fam.
He's my witness, V.
Can't speak for myself, you know.
Yeah, right.
So speak. I have been told.
Idiot was used as a medical term at 1.2. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Do you know what it was like referring to? I'm guessing very similar, like slow acting or something.
Go on, V.
Not gonna like what I'm about to say. I need a guarantee I'm safe here.
You have it.
I don't have donkey brains, I have
Can trust
certificate.
Oda.
Do you have
Alright.
such certificate?
Konpeki Plaza. I was there the night it happened.
An idiot. In modern use, is stupid or foolish person. It was formerly a technical term in legal and psychiatric contexts for some kinds of profound intellectual disability at the mental ages of 2 years or less, and the person cannot guard themselves against common physical dangers. The term was gradually replaced by the term profound mental retardation, which has itself been replaced by other terms.
One concern is to
Oh
keep
shit,
her
and
safe
coronavirus Todd
in this
time's
city
out, Kyle.
forgotten by the gods. Is she in danger? Now?
She's in the computer game.
Yet during the parade to honor Arasaka-sama. Most
Just pay more
certainly.
attention.
I bring
Since you haven't read
this
the
witness
people
to his
labelled
murder,
as an idiot in psych papers.
and you dare
I'd never heard of it. Yeah, I knew it was an insult, but like most insults, I guess a lot of them come from actual
Unlike you,
But you can't ignore
actual
the truth.
terms.
correct. Unlike you,
Onions papers are great.
I have
It
not
puts
yet
little
failed to
doodles in
keep
them.
my oath
Really keeps you
to my
interested.
duty. You will regret
Like I've proposed
those
on it.
words. The only thing I regret is that I can't
Yeah, Onions known
let
for
you.
his school psychotherapy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're really known for your preschool psychotherapy as well, right? Einan?
Sorry, but this
That's
gonna
like your
take much
major field,
longer.
right? Yeah, I've got a
I do you a
emo
favor
show to go
now
to.
by not
I've only got
cutting it off
30
in
seconds to
friction
get to Mars.
What would you do now?
Don't
Would
make
you
me
in my place?
fool out,
I
boy.
do no favors. I would deliver you ahead to Yorinobu-sama.
Oda.
Consider your... What?
We're talking about a guy who killed his father to seize control of Arasaka.
Yeah.
Gonna take an interest in this or not?
You're just gonna go comb your hair. Oh,
But I will let you leave
god
this
damn you,
place,
Markiplier.
this city, unharmed.
Okay.
If I see either of you again,
Just found out Einan had a Masters last
I
week.
will not
Do you
be
actually
so
have one?
lenient.
Like, oh yeah, from Calcutta. Okay.
We are all so far from home.
I mean, he should have a Masters for his voice, a Masters in silky voice.
1 Arasaka whack job is already plenty.
Fine friend you got.
Fine friend there. Got any more?
Alas, only him.
Well, that's sad. I'm not going to go too hard on him.
Can't say we didn't try.
Oh, also, that's his only friend? I'm right here, man.
A noble
I thought we were
taste.
really getting along. You know, Johnny? Just when you think you know a real-life person and not someone who's in your head. Yeah. You're also from the University of American Samoa. Go Land Crabs. Nice, nice. I heard they're doing really well in the Bladder Ball Cup this year. Oh, am I meant to be doing something? Sorry, I was just wanting to stand next to Keanu Reeves for a while. Oh. How do I figure what? I need to talk to you, Takamura.
What Oda said. They returned to Tokyo
hello.
after the
Oh
parade.
shit, look at that. Parade?
Do not see the parade.
I'm kind of starting to
It
see
is
where the
our
parade might be
chance,
happening, yeah.
perhaps.
You dudes get shipped
we
in
can
for the
get
parade?
to
This is gonna be
Hanako-sama.
fucking fire.
We must do a proper
An acquaintance
reconnaissance
or-
first.
Yeah, the Black
We will
Parade.
need a precise map of Japantown.
Hold on.
It is your turn to call on friends. Do you know a fixer who could help?
No. Slow down. You're
hang
moving
on.
too fast.
Not so
Ah!
fast.
One level
Sounds
below
easy
friend.
as
Alright, I'll
having
work a bit
skills.
harder. Feels Mrs.
said
Casual
yourself,
Soul reference. No.
Hanako's got the
Oh
tightest
shit.
security in all Night City.
I did. I don't. Even looking back, I
Correct.
don't grab them.
That is why I wish for you to contact us with a local fixer.
Alright, I just know the broad.
No, just a fixer dame. Wakaku Okada.
Someone bummed that
Owns a pachinko
furry head.
parlor on Jig Street.
Well, I mean, if that's just one person wearing that furry head, I need to see that. That's going to be some balancing and neck strength act.
Will you join me?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Sure, why not?
Hey! Down on the street, me and Takamura meet. We walked on our feet, and now we're gonna get something to eat.
And this is your local
Oh.
latest.
Getting a bit of a malfunction. You're driving, right? Yeah, good shit.
Caution when using data terms.
Oh, data
A
terms.
routine inspection has shown many have been corrupted with
Jig
malware.
Street.
Police
What is
experts
this name?
have confirmed the identity
Just a
of
Night City
viruses
name.
lead to cyberware failure and
Beware.
extreme
You
cases
mock
of
me.
Cyber Dude, I'm trying to listen about cyberware failure. I've got quite a lot in me now. This is important.
has raised the public
How are you?
level to
That sounds-
red.
You
Yeah.
alright, Goro?
Residents of Arroyo
Yes.
and Watson
Why
are
the sudden concern?
Now I'm imagining Fizzle slapping Einem with his penis. Yeah. Many people are.
Schools and hospitals
I'm gonna be nice to him.
Just
I want to
ask.
get up that level to actual
Seven
friend,
weeks
you know.
have to have an ulterior motive.
Changes the soul.
The district
I
is
apologize.
designed as an
That
oasis
came
of
off wrong.
luxury has become a
I
center for violent gangs and drug
I
addicts.
am simply not used to such questions.
Expressed interest in the
Ah,
process
I could
of
give you a book
People
about
like
questions.
with the aim
Either
of
we are doing
constructing a
well,
new server
or
in
we are in a grave.
the city government
Okay,
has
so you're doing well.
opened
Good to
a
know.
Idea what's going on at Arasaka?
single
Is this guy hitting on us?
What
Oh,
I
for
can
real.
surmise
But who
from
isn't?
What I see on TV.
I've put the largest of
Knowing
penises in
about
this
these
game,
puppies
and no
grinning
pubes.
at the cameras and insist
Lasered.
that everything is under control.
story is an unwelcome
But the wider the smile,
Yeah.
the bigger the lie.
Oh shit, really?
increased to $1,000
That means
Eurodollars
that means
per
the
dog.
Joker's a liar? That doesn't sound right. The Cheshire Cat's a liar?
Documented animal will
Um,
increase to $40,000
what else has a really big
Eurodollars.
mouth? Pelicans?
Tuning in to the N54 local news. Have a pleasant day.
You have a pleasant day, radio lady. Oh shit, we have getting it is the jazz musical. I did tell you. What did I say? Not even a landing strip, baby. We like a turret shell. Baba booey, baba booey. We were driving in a car. We didn't get very far. We needed the bar. Because we're alcoholics. Yeah. Give me the crack. Rah! That's just how most jazz songs I know go. Oh shit, it's dropped. What a beat. Not really the same thing at all, but something I want to do the Sandacoin mission in Bioshock. That was in Infinite, right? Alcoholic jazz musicians, right? Who would have ever heard of it? And why are they just on heroin already? Like, you know, commit to the musical genre drugs. Do I have to get out? I quite like it in here. Nope. Oh, okay, fair. It's been ages since I've played Bioshock. I have been intended to replay them. I've got like the remastered ones.
You asshole! You dirt-eating
You
no-good
dickhead,
bastard son of a
prick,
bitch.
you motherfucker, you dickhammer, you salivating salmon sweater.
Hey, honey!
Yeah,
What the fuck? What are you doing here?
yeah.
Sunshine.
Where are we? Oh shit, that's where we are? Oh, he's in trouble. Get him. Yeah, that's right. So girl, how you doing? Hey, you're single now. Hey, Hats! Lovely to see you, dude. Okay. No, I just wanna steal something. I saw something I could steal. Where'd it go? 12 hot dogs, please. Hey.
Now,
Hey,
I
oh.
may not be good with
Oh, this is where we're meant to
names,
be.
but I do have quite a talent for faces.
Okay, go for it.
Where have I seen yours before?
Me
On
or
the
you?
TV.
He's looking at you, right?
Very unlikely.
Yeah, he is. Okay, cool.
Oh, but of course, Hideshi Hino, the man, the legend.
Yeah, it's him.
Flash.
Oh, you were just in time.
Do you know
He was the guy who
Hideshi-
founded Basement
Hideshi
Jacks.
Hino, the late night comedy host. He was brilliant before he fell off the wagon.
Wait, no way!
Can you still do your famous?
Tell us a
"Let's
joke,
buck it
you
up"?
bitch.
No.
Get
Come
him.
on, you don't forget a thing like that. Just once, please.
Come on.
Hey, we should go in.
No. Don't leave this guy hanging.
Hideshi, don't leave this poor guy hanging.
Yeah.
This is not the best
He's an
time.
elderly man. Look, that's his actual name, dude.
Come on.
Come on.
Yes.
I haven't ever heard it. Go on.
Better buckle up!
Just as good now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hino-san, what happened?
He didn't even like it. It was like,
I
oh
do
shit.
not know.
That was so
I do
lackluster.
not recognize myself.
Have you looked
Are
in the
you
mirror?
happy? May we go?
Yeah, sure.
Fine, let's go.
Hideshi Hino, to have fallen so far. Such a shame.
So what other jokes did you do? Did you just do stand-up, or did you ever try and get into like the movie
This
business?
has got to be a misunderstanding.
Do you have hopes for the TV?
I've
There's
no
a TV
idea
there.
who jumped your team, but the claws, no, never.
That guy reminds me of
My
you,
boys
except the
know
peak.
their place.
I do have a lot of cyber
I'm
enhancements,
sorry
and I'm
I got to
clearly
go.
Asian.
I have
Yeah.
guests.
With guests, that sounds
Gee.
promising.
So nice to see you.
You too, Wakako.
And your charming friend is?
He's yeah.
Hideshi Hino, the comedian.
Get him!
竹村五郎です。岡田さん、お会いできて光栄です。
Ah, a true gentleman. Huh,
You shouldn't hide from your
shame
past,
on me
bro.
that
Said you
he's
don't
being
recognize
hunted
yourself.
by
Maybe just
all
need to get into
Arasaka's tin
doing jokes again.
soldiers. And you, V, bring him to my door. Give me one reason why I shouldn't notify the proper authorities right away.
You're
Would
curious,
have
yeah.
already made the call if you intended to. Simple. You're curious to see what we got.
Yeah. A
So
double
tell
comedy
me,
act.
And mark well I still have my phone at hand.
I do not see your phone. I do see your hands.
Need intel on the parade that's scheduled to come
Yeah.
through Japantown.
Pretty sure there actually has.
So
There's no way of telling
it's
until I've shaked them, but
again.
since the virus, 50 years ago.
What I fail to understand is, why come to me?
It was
Did
the mission?
Mr. Deshawn not come to the phone?
No, he got gatted. Let's go straight into this.
Arasaka, Tiger Claws. Kind of like the family dog screwing the cat, huh? Can't possibly be fond of the people who killed your grandkid.
Unless you
Long
don't like your
ago.
grandchildren.
Time's the best healer. Wound like that, though.
A wound like that, no. Everything's on the shards.
I have to
How
read.
much does this cost? My pockets are empty.
Clearly. My gift to
Are
you,
they?
it's free.
You got none, not even
Okada-san,
keys.
What is free often proves most costly.
No, shut up,
Gonna
dude.
take them or not?
You sure?
For free. You sure?
Got my reasons. But patience, I got none.
Don't see how this could backfire, so why not? Let's pop it into my face.
Japantown. Whole district is to be sealed off for the parade.
Okay.
Dashi platforms, the main attraction. They'll fly this way, high above street level.
What, the parade flies?
Along the parade route,
that's cool.
balconies,
Oh, maybe
footbridges,
balloons.
and vantage points affording good views.
Right.
Hanako Arasaka, the guest of honor, will deliver her speech from the largest float. She'll do this exactly here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Got no idea about security,
Right.
but given recent events, expect it to be tight. Our last parade, Arasaka undercovers infiltrated the crowd.
Oh, shit.
Not to mention a smattering of sharpshooters, drones. And if that's not enough fun for one day, a
It's
net
not.
runner, one at least. They use the city CCTV to observe everything.
I think the net runners are the
Main
ones that try and
access
shut
point
you down.
Here, it's an old automated control center. If you ask me, most useful by far.
Okay.
At the end, the floats will float out of Japantown, and we'll be left with trash up to our elbows that no one will collect.
Oh, that sounds horrifying.
That's it.
Huh.
It's all I have.
Why don't you speak to the
It
council?
must be enough.
Then go. Be on your way.
Let's go to the parade, buddy.
Not at all curious what we're going to all this trouble for.
Blissful ignorance has served me well. In any case, I'll find out soon.
I can't see
won't
anything
I?
that I can rob in here, so...
Thanks, Wakako.
We appreciate this,
Alright.
Okada-san.
Catch you later. Love you. Okay. Let's get this. Wait. Oh, I need to talk to you. Wait. I need to talk to you. Wait. 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 Stop.
A delightful, mature woman. This information, it could be just what we need. But I will try to investigate further. I will stay here some time and call some associates. The moment I learn something new, I will let you know.
Okay. Keep a low profile.
Just low profile, okay? Don't start handing out autographs.
Get him.
In fame, I could not overtake you if I tried.
I am pretty
Be
famous.
safe, B.
Alright. Walk away. Walk away. No, I want one that looks badass just stand here. Walk away. Just let me pull my gun out. Let me aim at my friend! Ugh, what kind of game is this? I can't even shoot my friends. Okay. So... it's moving us on to the next mission. So I think it keeps moving us to that one. So I feel like that's the main mission. So we will leave Ghost Town and we'll go find the Fingers Clinic. Oh shit! I already have, as far as I'm aware, 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. However you know you want to class it. But if we can get extra fingers on our hands, that would be really cool. And apparently it's right here.
Hey, not one step closer. Here to see who.
I think I need to be a step closer to talk to you. Yeah, I need to be a lot of step closer to talk to you.
Got a message for Fingers. Comes from the Tiger Claws.
And that message would be...
Happy
2
birthday,
things.
Gil.
Urgent and confidential.
meaning...
Meaning you got a choice.
Oh yeah?
You either
Yeah.
get your shit kicked in for being slow, or for being a nosy prick.
Fine. Let him through, Sludge.
Sludge. That's not a very complimentary name, is it, buddy? Alright. Stay out, bloody riffraff.
Oh, gracious creature and benign. Turn off the light. Visiting to this.
Alright. Oh, it's a joy toy.
The world.
Oh, that's a joy toy. All of these are sex bots.
For a friend, the king of all we owned.
Blue
I
butter?
pray to him.
What the hell are they taking?
Benzodiazepam. So like uppers. Oh, you know all about those, don't you? Rock and roll star,
24
Theodore.
hours, you feel no pain and barely remember a thing afterwards.
Ah, nice.
Who can blame them then?
The government, I guess, probably. That's how it usually goes. You alright?
Hey, you alright?
No way I'm gonna swim. I hate water.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't you see nobody cares?
Wow, I mean, still, it doesn't mean I'm gonna stop caring myself.
Fingers. Know where I can find him?
If I could, I'd swap, you know?
What?
Why does everything have to be
Your shoes?
so damn convoluted?
Your shoes are shit.
In the end,
I don't
all
want
I
them.
got left are shredded cables and empty bottles.
I just stole something as well, so you're left with one less thing. 2 less things. A whole box less of things. It's dark round here. Why would you make a drug den so dark, man? Jeez. Must be well hard for them to find veins. Get him. Get open here! Oh, that's outside. Huh. Now, I appreciate we're probably in a drug... It seems like we're in a drug clinic. But, in my eyes, this could either mean, yo, drugs upstairs, or yo, condoms upstairs. Maybe they do both. Maybe it's quite a clever marketing ploy. And people are like, shit, is it needles or condoms? Either way, it's a party.
Fine, I get it. Everyone's got their breaking point. Just pay me what you owe me, and you can fuck off to greener pastures.
Pimp. Oh shit, you're a pimp. What's gonna happen?
I don't owe you shit.
She doesn't owe you anything, dude.
Oh, but you do.
Oh shit, but you do.
That shit has a name. Something around.
So Johnny, like,
20,000.
yeah. 20,000,
Come on,
jeez,
you
girl.
pulled that number out of your ass.
How did you pull an? Are you Crash Bandicoot?
Hey, what's that tone with me, you skank?
He would like you to do it in a different tone.
look in the
He's
mirror.
really musically
Who paid
inclined.
for all that? Think fingers would have fixed a cracked faceplate for free? You want out?
Look in the mirror. Who paid for all that? If you're asking me to look in the mirror and ask me who's paid for it, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Did I pay for it? I mean, obviously her. Dude, you need to work more on your negotiations. Your pimp skills are lacking. All right, repeat after me. Repeat after me. Where my bitches? Where my bitches? He ain't got what it takes to be a pimp. Can I close the door on him? Pimp ass wannabe ass motherfucker.
V, hey.
Hi, how you doing? Hi, how you doing?
Hello? There's a
Where my bitches? Is my sound effects not on?
Sit your ass down and wait your turn.
Excuse me, I just want to see if I can steal that. I can, thank you. Hi. Oh, it's Judy.
Fingers guy. You know him?
Heard some things, yeah.
Like...
His hands
Maybe it's
sometimes
Where My
slips.
Bitches. I can't remember. Mojo would know.
Glad to see a familiar face.
It might be Where My Bitches.
I'm worried sick about
All
her.
one
V.
word.
Had no idea anything had happened.
Or where.
Find her.
Might just be where,
I know
actually.
we will.
Exclamation mark, where. I think that'll be it. Are there any humans at this point? Most people are still human. They just have extra implants and shit. They like, these Joy Toys, they are human. They're just kind of like zombified humans, basically.
Where's my bitches?
Where's my bitches? There we go. Where's my bitches? Say it together. It goes in together. Come on, where my bitches?
Why the hell she go back to clouds?
Where my bitches?
God knows why.
That's why he'll always be a fucking pimp assistant, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. What were you saying? Sorry?
Knocks don't happen to have fingers in their crosshairs.
No, why?
Heard Joy Toys come out of his clinic in worse shape than they come in.
Yeah, well, can't solve all the world's problems at once.
Could if you
We're
tried.
gonna be here forever. I just know it.
Alright, well,
Maybe you could talk to those.
talk is cheap, Judy.
What the hell?
Huh.
What the? Hey!
You're an interesting
this
character.
Isn't some Esquif den in Pacifica. Sit and wait your turn.
Where's Evelyn Parker? I know she wound up here at your...
Fingerstadt.
Evelyn. Evelyn.
Took his scissors. Hopefully he doesn't need those to help this person.
Think real hard now.
You see, my patient here is likely to feel ever so slightly awkward if I leave half her face off.
I don't know. She could then star in movies with Nicolas Cage.
Upper eyelid retractor on that faceplate's busted. She won't be able to
Huh.
close her eye completely.
This lady doesn't look like she has a nose,
don't know that.
mouth, or jaw.
Sadly, this
That's
is
probably
the
quite a
secondhand
problem.
schlock I'm forced to make do with.
Third hand and fourth hand too, by the look of things.
Right.
Consider the alternative. No
She has no
eyelid
face.
At all, no faceplate to speak of.
Tell me where Evelyn Parker is.
Yes, but I have a procedure I must finish.
You can talk and proceed.
May I?
Fine.
Fine, I'll wait.
I don't want her to die. I'm a nice guy. If you throw powder on my nose, I'm gonna, I don't know,
I need you to
beat
be
you.
a big girl now. This could hurt.
Can we staple it? That doesn't look too painful.
Bear
It's
with
just
me for
electricity
one
lasers
more
to your
second.
face. Calm down.
There. How's it feel?
Fine, I guess.
Nah, the answer was, man, I feel like a woman. And then get your inner radio that you just had built in to play the guitar lick. Don't tell anyone we were here. Otherwise, I'll tell them your face isn't real.
As far as I know, I'm all paid up.
We're with the mark.
Yeah, we got Max, see? Tell us what we need to know, see?
Why didn't you say so? So,
Yeah, why didn't you say so?
what brings you here?
These girls know you're chipping faulty implants?
It's a nose job,
You
lip
might
job,
say so.
teeth job,
I'd say
tongue
they're the
job,
very best I
gullet
can
job.
find.
There's quite a lot of job.
See?
What's in it for you?
Whatever they have to offer. And they always have something to offer.
Money?
You're a sick fuck. Know that?
Oh. Buttholes. Nostrils,
You're looking
maybe.
for a-
Maybe that's why they had no need no nostrils.
Heard you help the working girls around here.
Well, very few children will play with broken toys. So when skin goes flabby, sockets go out of whack, implants malfunction, I'm sure you get the gist. You pay for goods, you expect top quality.
Then why would they come to you?
101.
Get them.
Please. Scrapyards offer better quality than this.
Yeah, right.
Already told you. I'm looking for a woman named Evelyn Parker. Need to know where she is.
Just need to know.
Step into my office, please. Many girls come through here.
But where do they come from? Where do they go?
But let me put it to you this way. I believe in giving each of them the personal touch.
I want to look at your computer quick.
Ask anyone. I'm more than a
Ah,
shop
fine, I'll come
guy.
over to you.
See, I know what people truly
Is this your office?
want. To be flattered, praised, patted.
I just want to steal everybody's shit, if I'm being real honest.
I'll be more than glad to show you around. Of course,
Yeah, what's this?
I can't remember each
Cotton
and
mouth,
every
alright.
one. Please set your exquisite derrieres down.
Oh, I can punch him? Ooh.
Went jittery soon as I mentioned her name. Don't try getting out of this. I know you remember her.
I have a neurological condition. It's not easy living with tics. Really, I'd love to help, but if only I knew who you were talking about.
Do we not have a picture? I'm not going to punch him straight away.
Name mean anything to you?
Because maybe we can get a nose job.
They call him Woodman. Works at the
Get like a
dollhouse.
really long toucan bill
You-
type nose.
You talked to him?
Didn't like Woodman's tone. So I made sure he'll have a tough time speaking for a while. Not too fond of you either right about now.
Made him sign an
So
NDA.
careful what you say.
Poor girl. Tried to help her, I did. But as you can see, this isn't exactly a state-of-the-art facility.
Yeah, seems like it does the job.
You mentioned you couldn't help her. Help her with what exactly?
If I only knew, I wager she'd be standing here, happy and smiling.
In your room?
Instruction
I don't think she'd be
register
happy.
on her chip was burnt to a crisp.
I want to know what
Tried
scratched his face.
replacing it.
It's cool. I don't know if it was a bear or a person.
Any
Bear
idea
person.
what caused the damage?
Man, bear pig.
Tech was top-notch. Didn't go kerplunk on its own, that's for sure.
Right.
Saying she was targeted?
What do you think,
A
Judy?
netrunner, as I see it. One with some serious code up their sleeve, too.
Get to the
Get to the
point.
point.
Your hand.
The point?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Well, I haven't the faintest idea where she is.
Oh, okay.
Enough of this bullshit!
That's
What'd
it.
you do to her, you freak?
Kill him, Judy.
Now, either you put a muzzle on this creature, or put her down.
Kill them.
It's impossible to have a conversation with her around.
Don't talk to her like that.
She insulted me.
Look, the quicker you spill, the shorter you'll have to put up with us. Now, Evelyn Parker, where is she?
Could very well be on her way to becoming the next underground brain dance darling. That's all I know.
Underground brain dance, darling.
What do you mean by underground?
I don't know. I mean, I don't watch that sort of stuff.
Clearly
Snuff?
does.
XBDs?
Ah, you're into the snuff shit, are you, buddy?
No.
You sure about this?
4 days I had her here. She was out cold in La La
Okay,
Land.
did have it. Say Blas's face already worth the money? Right. We're getting
It wasn't
close.
a slumber party. We didn't have pillow fights and promised to send each other postcards.
You still do postcards in 2077? Why?
Where will we find her?
How many times do I have to repeat myself?
12.
I don't know. I did what anyone in my place would do.
Alright, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
When I realized I wouldn't be able to help her, patch her up, I called my fixer. 2 guys came and picked her up the same day.
And who's your fixer? Bitch.
Who'd you call? Who's your fixer?
Where is she?
Wakako.
Oh.
Told
you
her I had a
spoke to
busted
Wakako.
doll with a BD implant to hand off.
Where did they take her?
I told you already. I don't know. They weren't the talkative kind, and I'm no gunk. I know better than to ask questions of people like that.
You're no gunk? What do you think? Why'd all these girls come in here, let you grope around them? Think it's for your charm? Your caring attitude?
Maybe they just like
They
him.
do it because they got no choice.
Man, postcards,
And in
yeah,
the end,
way
they just spite.
unnecessary in this age
They
even.
can smell you're pathetic.
These guys, what do they look like?
Like you, me, anyone else in this city.
Really now? They look like you?
Oh, don't
They
be
look
judgy.
like the kind of guys
There's
you
been a
don't
lot of people
make
walking
eye
around in this sort of
contact with.
fashion, to be fair.
One of them was a bearded fellow.
Right.
The 2 that came for her didn't say anything about where they were going to take her, what they were
It's
going
good
to
to
do.
know Judy's a Spider-Man fan. Look how many Spider-Man
Mentioned
tattoos she
something
has.
about virtues.
And Gooseman!
A
That's cool.
moth,
Gooseman's
of all
underrated.
things. Said she'd be perfect for them, whatever that means.
Means they'd go really well
That's
together.
all I know.
You pawned her off like she was some fucking inanimate mannequin.
Because that's exactly what she was.
Get them. Oh. Should have used your robot hand. You like that?
Need air. I'll be outside.
Judy's right. People like you make this city a living hell. Day in, day out.
Got what you wanted, didn't you? So get the fuck out of here.
I'll only ever come back to prey on these women and not speak to you. Oh, you're a fixer now? Oh, okay, well, that could be useful in the future. Oh, I wanted to look for his shit, didn't I? Oh, there's more stuff on the floor. Nice. I still can't use the PC? Huh, okay. Nice. Alright, we're leaving Condom Syringe Land.
To clouds.
You
Could've
did.
stopped her, but
You
I
really
didn't.
could. Yeah, it's totally your fault, actually, Judy.
Trust me, Judy. Compared to the pieces of shit I scrape off my shoe every day, fingers doesn't
Every
come close
day.
to being half their brand
I haven't
new
even
rock.
seen dogs in his game. Like
Got
people
no
just
fucking
shitting on the
word.
streets and you're stepping in it
No.
every day.
Don't worry. We'll find her, I know it.
We'll fucking find what's left of her butchered corpse.
Yeah, but
Hey.
we'll find her.
Keep it together. You want to give up now?
No. Only lead we got's an XBD.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that get us?
We also know we're looking for something related to the Death's Head. It's better than nothing.
Well, let's take a Morrison. Wakano Okado, you do not think she will betray us? She doesn't show me anymore, having doubts. You have no one to worry about, unlike me. Right? I'm gonna go with the jokey route. He's a comedian.
Optimism. Still sounds like a big
Oh,
fat
shit.
nothing to me.
Oh my god, he's saying so much. Why would you take so much? Let me know if I can be of help. Oh Jesus. You're typing again, aren't you? I can see the dots. Is that it? You're not going to send another message, are you? I'm not going to close my phone and you're going to blow it up, are you? Yeah, they're sending some cars. They're sending some cars. Let me send anyone else. Regina. Dakota's done. Got some shit there. She's saying some stuff too. And we're good. I was talking to you, but then I started reading my messages. Hey, here we go.
Dead set symbol bring anything to mind? Anything. Doesn't matter how small.
This industry... I mean, market's looking for every kind of fetish out there. It's cavernous, but an
Cabbage
XBG
fetish.
outfitted be on the move almost always. Makes them harder to nab, harder to sting.
Boop.
Need to figure out where they're scrolling.
Boxcars are still in trend in 2077, apparently. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Doubt they do much shooting
Not as many Tron type cars as you think. There's some flying vehicles, but not as many as you'd think either. But I don't know if we'll ever get to a flying cars thing.
One of their virtues.
I think there's probably better ways to do
Have
shit.
to be real gonks to leave a clue.
Everything leaves a trace behind.
Everyone, everything leaves something behind. Just need to know where to look. Lucky for me, I'm running around with the best BD specialist in town. That's an extra pair of expert eyes.
Well, your BD expert has a better idea.
Bungee demon,
Pleasures
for anyone
of
who doesn't know
Night
what that
City,
means, by the
a
way.
domain with its twin on the dark net.
Don't walk away from me.
Every kind of thing goes on there. Might stumble on something useful.
Yeah, we might not though. I don't need to get, no one need hopes to get too high, Judy.
Let me think for a sec.
Yeah, stop walking so fast. Let's give the dark net site a shot. Let's go to the fix right now.
Try calling Wakako. Fixer fingers mentioned.
Thought of an angle to run on her?
Why would I need one?
Even if she knows the studio's location, she's not gonna spill. Be putting her neck on the line.
Huh. Okay. I'm buying the brain dance. We can analyze, play detective.
Fine. Meantime, see if I
Her
can
face is,
find
like, wobbling
something
a
in the
bit.
NCP domain. I'll wait in the van.
Alright, I'm gonna make this cool. I don't want you to hear. It's gonna be very personal. Hey, well, go on, Wakako.
V,
Hey.
nice surprise.
You too.
What is it you need?
Oh, the world, my lady, the world. How are you?
Things, Wako.
This a prelude to whatever illegal favor you're about to ask me?
Yup.
What? No, never.
In that case, they couldn't be better. Kind of you to ask. And you?
I'm looking for a brain dance.
Oh, any particular one?
Logo on the casing.
Hey,
Death's
yo, man,
head
you
mark.
trying to rip us off? I got
Whoa,
4 bags
now.
missing here.
That's quicksand. So I would advise caution.
I ain't dealing with Pablo. I'm dealing with you. That means you and
Know
me
who
got a
makes them?
problem.
Where they scroll them?
Whoa!
Now, I could take
You
the
know
sidewalk
what a
with your
fixer
guts, but that
does?
wouldn't get me what I
Allow
want.
me to explain.
Go for it.
Not only do I finalize transactions, I can accomplish the goddamn impossible.
Which would be...
Making sure the buyer, supplier, and ever neglected
goddamn.
intermediary not only keep their heads in the games, but keep their heads, period. So don't you ever ask me who, with whom, where, when, why, or how.
So no W's with her.
You got a bad vibe.
Can you get me one of those recordings?
No, but I have a pretty good idea who can.
Yay!
Who'd that be?
There's a store on Jig Jig Street. It has a Pandora's box with
Starts to
a
piece
crap inside.
slip the wound, fuck the wound, that way you'll feel the swoon.
Thanks,
That's a
Wako.
Slipknot lyric. I actually remember that when I was younger. Visit the sex shop. Don't mind if I do. Hi, how you doing? Enjoying your sex life? Hi, how you doing? Enjoying your sex life? Hi, how you doing?
Are you fucking blind, Gunk?
Wow, you can't say that anymore, dude. What you got?
Got anything that might interest me?
Gag. Love compartment. Pilomancer, Protector, Studded Dildo, Transanal Express, BD. Oh, I did want BDs, didn't I? Are these the ones I want? Well, you might as well buy them. They sound sexy. Free mouse, one desire. Yeah, sure, I'll buy one of those. Sixth gear, sure. Aftershocks, why not? Conqueror 9000. Oh, sexy. Count Destroyer. Hopefully that's about vampire. Epicurean Sonata. That's maybe the one we need. Midnight Visitor. And Wet Dream. Lovely. Is that it? Probably sell a load of shit I'm not going to use as well. That's one I keep. That's one I keep. Get rid of that one. Well, that one's better. That was a power shotgun. I'll keep that for a bit. Oh shit, that pistol's better? Lizzie's been with me for so long and this pistol's better now? Oh shit. Oh, the tables have turned. Should we start to get some more decent guns now? Usually they weren't exceeding 200. I need to go through these properly. Alright, you look like a bitch gun. You're a bitch gun. You're probably a bitch gun. You're actually pretty decent. Alright. Yeah. You need Death Head Moth or something. That does sound pretty sexy.
You mean smut?
Snuff,
No,
baby.
More hardcore.
Won't find it here. But there's a guy on Jig Jig Street. Has a whole lot of peculiar flicks. And I mean peculiar.
Oh, okay. Never turn your back on a person in a sex shop. I might shoot you with a gun.
Just what I fucking needed.
You got problems? Let me fucking live.
I know, another attack, right? Everyone's just gun happy today. What's going on? Jeez, I had to take the long way round.
What? You want a new friend?
Yeah. Oh shit, you got a gun. Oh my god. Someone's having fun down there. I'll have what she's having. Classic. Okay, I will go to... I think we probably need to go to Poplar Street. No, it said Jig Jig Street. I'm gonna go storage. I think she may have been, I think she was getting pleasure herself, whether or not a penis was doing it or not. I can't be sure. I'll try and find out one way or another for you.
Something raw, untouched. I'll come back some other time.
Oh, this shit's been touched. Sorry about that. Hey. Someone stole your stuff.
How about you? You buying or just gonna stand there like a pig undercover?
You should think so. What are you selling?
What have you got?
Virtues.
Any special kind?
Well, let me put it to you this way. Those who know don't need to ask.
That's a really dumb answer. That's an extremely dumb answer, Chris Hemsworth.
Looking for BDs. A particular kind.
Particular?
Mm-hmm. Nostril shit.
You a badge?
Yep.
Give me the best of the best. The ones with the death's head.
Didn't know I was dealing with a connoisseur.
Yep, I love snuff films.
Death's head'll cost
Great.
you.
How about a discount for your newest customer?
Only give regulars discounts. If you're short, then fuck off.
No, I'm not the same size as you, dude.
Where do you get these scrolls?
People
Excuse
that
me.
make these obsessed with privacy. Never even occurred to me to ask where they're from.
They
Too
might
much
tell
caution
you.
I probably
You
owe the
just
fact that I'm
ask.
still alive. Talking to you.
Okay. I am no
I'm no
connoisseur.
connoisseur, trust me.
Sure.
All I need to know is who makes them and where.
Now listen, I just sell whatever sells. Nice, calm job. Let me see some eddies. You can pick one. Parse it, and I won't care a hair.
I don't care a hair.
Got
I like
anything
that.
that might interest me?
Okay, let's see what he's got. So he's got Medical Gauze, Ritual Bowl. Everybody's got that album. Jeez, everyone's got that somewhere on. That's one we need. 1,000. It's not even that much. It's fronting like it was loads. Oh, we've been needing those for ages, actually. How many you got? You got 50? 42 grand. I'll buy 5 for now. Because then I can upgrade shit with those. But I don't know how many I need to upgrade them. I'll buy 5 of these too. Why not? Just for good measure. What's this? More? Okay. Wasting all our money. Acid bath deleted scenes. Oh. I don't know if you can actually boot those up or not, so I don't know if they're actually like worth buying. I think we probably got loads of these anyway, but they're cheap, so. Alright.
Pleasure doing biz with you.
You too, man. You too. Wait. Fizzle, read the titles, then ask yourself again. That's all the way back there. I do need a piss, so I might take a quick break before we proceed with the next part. I'm just gonna mingle.
Why's everyone got it out for me?
Right.
I won't buy anything from you.
Oh. You have any picture taken? Let me get in on that. Hang on. I just want to be in a picture.
Fucking hell!
Right, I know, everyone's trying to get in this picture with us. Leave it out.
And I try.
Yeah, but they just won't let you in a picture. Yeah. Okay, anyway, we're going to do a quick little giveaway, guys. So,